might be falling under kid content.
Yep. A thumbnail with kids in a ballroom.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, most of the time you're talking with your husband.
Let me shut this other screen off.
Even though you're not talking with them much, but the focus is
YouTube is making changes again to its terms of service, and I would suggest, if you have a YouTube channel, that you go over to PUSA Studios, their latest video, and listen to what they have to say. So anyway, I'm going to put a link down in just a few minutes. I'm only going to be on here just a few minutes. It's something that people probably need to look at. I'm planning future videos. Especially people that's just getting started, just got monetized. Hey everybody. Hey Hank. My Great Finds, Junk Girls, True 72, Bargaining the Truth, Hank again, and Blood X. I just finished listening to a video put up by PUSA Studios about upcoming changes to the YouTube terms of service. And if you have a YouTube channel, you might want to go over there and listen to it. It's PUSA Studios. Hang on just a minute, Tommy. There's a link if anybody wants to come in here. Tom, if you want to come in here. Jim and Tara. Kathy. The FTC is really getting down on them about child content. And it's really going to screw up. I mean, according to them, it's really going to screw people up. Especially, and of course, in the YouTube style, they have it put out, you know, all the instructions, all the data about it. They're just making broad statements about it now. But if you have a channel, I'm not really clear on it, but you know, if you have a channel that is pushing towards children, like gaming, I mean, like unboxing of toys and things like that, you're probably going to lose monetization. If you have a statement, if you have a channel like Jim and Tara's son ever comes on, you know, shows up in screen every once in a while. Kathy's kids show up every once in a while in screen. That could cause you to get a strike if the content is not considered family friendly. It's real confusing. Like I said, Andrew over at PUSA Studios does a really good job of a better job that I can explain it. But I don't know how many of y'all follow them. And this is something that they kind of do. They stay on top of this, all this YouTube voodoo crap they have going on. So it's going to be a case of where people are really going to have to clean up, they're really going to have to plan their videos. Adult content goes into effect at the end of this month, and apparently you're going to have to, if you have a lot of profanity and whatnot going on, you're going to have to fix it. You're going to have to set it as adult content. But the biggest thing that the PUSA was concerned, Andrew was concerned about, was the people in the middle, the people that's not doing family orientated, what's considered family orientated stuff. It's the people in the middle that's like what we do. Derek at NASCAR man, he's going to have to, he predominantly does the Matchbox cars, which are toys, which is considered pushing towards children. And that's not what he does. I mean, that's not the purpose of his show. So there's going to be a lot of people that's going to have to figure all this stuff out. I don't know, Kathy. I think if it's set at adult content, then it can't be monetized. But I don't think they'll pull it. Because if they did that, there's a lot of shows. Like there's this guy called iDubbbz. Every other word is the F bomb or, the P bomb, any of those words. He would lose his whole damn channel. So, no, but that would be nice if you headed that direction. So anyway, like I said, I just want to hop in here for just a minute, and since nobody wants to come in here with me and talk, I'll just call it an end. And like I said, go over to PUSA Studios and watch the current video. You probably can skip about 15 minutes into it, maybe 20 minutes into it, and get to the meat of it. Tommy, are you doing another daggum late night show? But you know what's going to happen is if they don't get they're trying, they're fighting with the FTC. So I understand that they got to deal with those people. But there's other countries that won't give a crap. Because they'll want they'll like having the tax money. David. But there's a lot of people that have. Well, the biggest thing is, you're not supposed to be on YouTube unless you're 13 or over. Well, she's old like me. She can't stay up all night. So anyway, y'all just go over there and check it out. Listen to it. If you've got channels, if you're thinking about, your game plan is maybe develop a bigger channel, hey Swag, go over to PUSA Studios and look at their current video about the updates to the YouTube terms of service about creators. I mean, like I said, and like most people have said, they see the point because people can't control their children and they get to watching stuff that they really shouldn't watch. I mean, like when we were on the cruise, they had like family game night on the cruise, and they did some like Nickelodeon games. Well, after they ended the Nickelodeon games, they were going to do like an adult version of the Newlywed Show. And they were saying, everybody 18 and under, it's for people 18 and over. And there were lots of kids sitting in there. And the two guys that was running this gig, they're like, you probably don't want these kids in here, but if you let them stay, it's up to you, not us. So anyhow, I showed some cakes. Well, like I said, Deb, I was trying to just salvage what I could off of the video. Anyway, yeah. Well, also too is that I think we're gonna have to watch what our language is. Not English or French, but the words that are used. Keep it more PG than pushing it into the R-rated or the X-rated. So anyway, yes, you will. Your show is not geared for kids, except for Brandon. Brandon would get in there and have a knockdown drag out with you. Little Brandon, not Sally's Brandon. Well, some of the problems that he was talking about is there are shows where YouTube creators are God, I gotta get my eyebrows bush hogged. They dress up as kids and they're doing, obscene things and it's just driving the FTC crazy. Yeah. Sally's Brandon is just a naked man. But see, that kind of stuff too, that might be a flag for YouTube too. Hey, Tara.
Hey, Tom. So is YouTube broken now?
It's just, they're just throwing up all these things about children and, all the things that are pushing towards kids. What's considered adult content. I don't consider our shows adult content, but it's in that middle. So it's just like I said, they're going to demonetize people and give them strikes if they have content that's. And apparently, if you have a child in the video, that makes it child friendly. Well, if the actual tone, if things are going on in the video that are not child friendly, then you can get a strike, and then you can end up losing your channel. So.
And what's not child friendly? Like obscenity,
Yeah,
sexual nature, I'm sure.
so
Violence.
it's you know, because there's a lot of these gamers and whatnot. They cuss and carry on and make
Yeah.
sexual overtones and everything else. They're probably going to have a little bit of a problem. They're
Well,
going
and
to
you have like these kids have these like sometimes you have these gamer kids. They're having like these like drama fights, you know, with other channels and stuff. Maybe they're trying to cut down on that.
well, it's also sorry, I was getting feedback. Um, it's really going to just cause people problems.
How is this going to affect me, Tom?
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah,
A, you're not monetized.
no.
B, you know, I mean, I don't. And you know, they got so many gray areas now. They've really haven't come out with final.
That's you. Do not do it. No, or you're going to get down. No, no, that's you. It's you, you dummy.
It's
She
just
sees any dog, like any kind of animal on like the TV, and she starts barking at it. So she's sitting here and she just saw herself. So now she's like, I must attack. No, 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 no. Hey, no.
so my intent was just you know, just get on here and say, hey, y'all need to go check this out if you got a YouTube channel. And because you know, there was one person that was in the audience. They do a bunch of stuff on autism, and the consensus was you're just going to have to see what happens. You know, children and autism. To see,
Yeah, but that wouldn't be like a bad subject for children to, you know. And it's probably more. Well, I guess I didn't watch it, but you'd think it'd be more like children talking about inappropriate things or
yeah.
inappropriate content for a minor.
I mean, because like
Get out of here.
This is very,
I watch this,
parking is very inappropriate.
I watch this thing every once in a while. The guy's name is Sounds Like Pizza, and he cusses like a sailor. Anyway, he runs around in different characters, and he has had kids. You can tell by their voices that they're like 11, 12, 13 in that age bracket.
Uh-huh.
And those little kids are cussing like sailors. And you know, talking about which they, you know, making sexual comments and things like that about Sounds Like Pizza. That crap will get pulled.
Yeah. And is it the parents' channel, or do the parents not know what's going on?
No, it Sounds Like Pizza is an adult.
Huh.
It's just, you know, it's on GTA 5 and on the open world, so anybody can go into it. And it's just a case where, you know, people don't. I guess
Huh.
people just don't monitor their children or whatnot.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, I shouldn't tell people how to raise their kids, but
No, that's right.
your kids shouldn't be cussing or talking about sexual stuff while they're that young.
You know, we're also talking about the FTC, which I thought that was the Federal Trade Commission. I don't know how they're in it. I figured it'd be the Federal Communications Commission. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the FTC's involved in it because of all the monetization and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know how that will work.
So I just suggest you all go over there and listen. Go in about 30 minutes into the show, and that's where they start talking about it. And listen to what they have to say. I think they're kind of confused about what the ruling is saying, or what the changes are saying. But apparently they're going to be locking down on some people. And, you know, the consensus was that they're hoping, you know, is that they're probably hoping that a lot of channels will drop out.
Yeah.
But
Well, look at like you're not supposed to have nudity, but I've come across YouTube channels where there's nudity. You know.
yeah, so it's I don't know whether the FTC is starting to police them or not,
Mm.
but apparently I don't know who. I mean, I guess somebody has complained about it.
Well, I mean, it is amazing. We're in an age now where, you can broadcast something from out of your house and it might be something that other people don't agree with or people find immoral or offensive or whatever. But in the old days, it was easy, that stuff was censored out. It didn't get out there on
Right.
television.
Absolutely. It's and it's going to there's the consensus was that Instagram and Twitch and all of these will start being start having to follow the same kind of rules.
Huh.
So it didn't say whether you had to go back, whether like say for the kid, all the children's stuff, there's 4 months to do whatever you got to do.
Huh.
They don't say whether at whatever the 4 months date is that you don't have to go back and do you have to go back and start pulling stuff out of your catalog of previous shows
Huh.
that might cause problems.
Yeah. I heard of somebody getting suspended because she was washing her car and her shirt got wet. And I don't know if she's trying to be like provocative or not, but yeah, she got suspended for like, I don't know, 60 days or something like that.
Yeah,
This was about a year ago.
I heard something similar to that.
But and now they're really cracking down on this stuff. But then, I mean, and I heard this on a news show a few years ago. The number one video streaming thing that's watched on a PS system, do you know what it is?
Mm-mm.
It's Pornhub. It's Pornhub. Yeah, well, and I mean, I don't want but what do you think your little 14-year-old boy's doing when he decides to call in sick to school or have you do it and everybody goes to work, and I mean, you have a lot more access to that kind of, I think easier access than when we were kids.
People need
Now, I don't think kids should be watching it, but it is easier access.
Right.
It's a lot different than sneaking and finding your dad's Playboy or something.
Yeah, you used to have to really work for it. You really had to work to find stuff like that. Now it's
Yeah.
you can take their phone and Funny, would you pour me a glass of tea? They can get on their cell phone, their smartphone, and find that stuff.
Yeah. Or they could be playing Fallout 4 and then say, all right, I'm going to watch the porno for a while.
Well, it's I totally forgot what I was going to say. People are going to have to. I mean, people are going to have to just. Thank you. People are going to have to say. I mean, they're going to have to just start watching what their kids are doing. I mean, it's not the FTC's position to tell you how to raise your kid or me to raise my kid, but it just goes back to the fact that kids just do what they want to now. Mike, don't bring in South Park now.
Oh, boy. Mike would be a good one to have in here.
I posted the link. No, you're the only one that came in.
I know, and I had moved my computer, so it took me a little while to set up. I figured you'd be full because you're one of these like big time YouTubers now.
You need to hush. Y'all gotta
I'm
quit
like,
listening.
oh man. By the time I reset up my computer, he's probably gonna be full with like 6 people because isn't it on StreamYard you can only have 6.
Yeah. Tommy's just living in some kind of dream world last night. It was late, you know.
I like to tease you.
I know. But it's like I said, y'all need to go over there and listen to them because they're in the communication business and they really stay on top of this kind of stuff.
They're a great place to build your channel. And I
Yeah.
should go over there more. It's just I've been so busy. I just haven't had time.
Yeah, you're trying to rebuild your business, or not rebuild it, but you're trying to build it back up after all this moving and purging.
Yeah. And I like hanging out and stuff, you know, and I like BSing, but I will say, I mean, eBay is where we make a living, so it needs our full attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's getting, you know, it's the YouTube was a wild west for a while. You know, anything and everything went, and it's slowly wait a minute, I'm sorry. It was streaming through, and David, the truth says he's going to do a Mr. Rogers like resellers. What's in the box? My setup will look like Tom's boxes and shelves. So anyhow, it's I'm curious, you know, because they were talking about all these channels that like these kids are unboxing toys.
Well, it's like a sub around, Tommy. You call it like showing the love, but yeah, in order to get, you're gonna have to give.
Yeah. They go to PUSA Studios. They are real strict about what you say. You do not say the S word. And they're really specific on how they want you to share it because they don't want to be, they do not want to lose their channel because it's considered a sub for sub channel.
Yeah. And when that was going on, when YouTube put that in there, you know, where you had to have so many watch hours and 1,000 subs, and that you had a lot of channels are doing these sub for sub channels.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them that's gone because they lost it because they were doing that. Ansley.
Yeah.
Hey, Lucas. But, you know, I mean, it's Andrew PUSA. He said, you know, it's kind of scary about stuff because they have videos where their children are there, you know, and he says, you know, they're just either they come in, they're in the room, or they're doing live YouTube in the car and the kids are in the back seat.
Yeah.
He said, you know, is he going to get a strike for that? Is he going to just lose monetization off of it, or is it going to be pulled down?
And they really helped you get to the 1,000 subs.
Yeah.
I'd like to get to the 1,000 subs just to say I got it.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I could never get a paycheck and I really wouldn't care. I always kind of was like, I always just wanted to sort of do it for fun. Like, oh yeah, look what I found or whatever. I really don't want to like give it a lot of advice or teaching. It's not really who I am.
Well, you know, like when you do your sale videos and when you do your what you bought at auctions, that's teaching more than that is teaching.
Yeah.
That is teaching people more than they're going to get from a course.
I like joking around with Jim. I like teasing Jim and embarrassing him and showing stuff we bought. That's where I get my enjoyment. Like, if I can embarrass Jim once during the video, then I know I've done my job.
I watch Oh, they're expecting like the Disney channels to get hit hard too by this. I'm
Like Disney, like the people that go to the parks.
well, he just said the Disney channels, and I don't know whether I'm assuming it's that and anything that's considered. But see, like the Tim trackers, they're not. To me, I don't consider them a child's channel. I consider them adults' channel. You know, but they're in all these Disney parks. So because it's Disney, does that mean that YouTube's going to think they're a kids' channel? But you know what I was about to say was they he does a lot of video, and his wife apparently spends all day editing. And that's what these people that have these big channels that are doing it for money. There's somebody that's doing a crap load of editing, or they're paying somebody, or they've got a VA. Yeah, VA to do it. So, hey, Bumcrack.
Yeah, I don't edit nothing. You get when we turn the camera off and turn it off. That's what you get.
It's well, that's like what Dusty said last night. When he starts shooting, he just pastes all the different sections together and uploads.
I like him. I like Dusty, and I watch his videos, and a lot of times I'll have him playing because he does like a lot of driving and talking, so you don't have to like physically watch, the screen.
Right.
But it is like the miniseries North and South. I always tease him because I'll have to like pause it while I go do something else, and then I pick it back up. It takes me a couple days to get through them sometimes.
Well, when my son was going, I was not making a joke last night when I said last night that I liked his 3-hour videos, 3.5-hour videos. I could turn one on when I got to the north side of Charlotte, taking my son to back to Raleigh to NC State. I could turn it on and listen to him the whole time we're driving, and he would be wrapping it up about the time I got to his dorm.
Why don't you give Craig the link if he wants to come in? Because he knows a lot about like YouTube algorithms. Honestly, I'm just like this. I'm like, I do it for fun. And like, I know there's like people that study it and that's cool, but I'm not going to look into it. If I can get to the 1,000 subs, I'll be happy. And that's it. I don't care about the rest.
There's the link, Craig, if you want to come in. But because I messaged him and said, "Did you see this?" And I told him he got to go look at it because he's all in. I mean, he's likes finding out about this stuff, and
I just want to get to the 1,000 subs so I can say that's it. I'm a member of the club. I fit in. I'm a bona fide reseller now.
Okay, well, I'll do a shout out video for you.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
I'll use all my YouTube power to.
I know you will. They'll be like, "Oh man, here's Queen City Picker. We better do as he says."
That's right. I'm a nobody. But since Tommy thinks I've got such a good voice and everything, he needs to help me promote you.
Well, I don't think I've made a video in 3 or 4 months now.
Well, you know what? You've been moving for was you're 3 states away?
Yeah.
Okay. 15 hours away from where you were at. That you've been doing a lot,
Yeah.
Oh, he's in here.
There's PUSA.
Yeah. Andrew. There's the link if you want to pop in here. But like I said, y'all need to go listen to his whole spiel about it. It's real informative, and he needs to he needs to be on. Everybody needs to pay him. because he figures this crap out. Thank you for the show tonight, Andrew. Halfway through it, I had to run out to my car and get my car and turn him on out there so I could listen to him while I went and got Vanya from the hospital. He's
I know
crazy.
sometimes I'll walk by Brandon's room or something, and I'll be
Right.
like, okay, turn that one off, inappropriate, because it'll be like he'll be watching video game ones or these like I guess I call them like a spoof one with whatever's trendy with kids now, but they'll be dropping a lot of F-bombs and stuff. I'm like,
Right.
no, turn it off, inappropriate. But he sneaks it on when I'm
Right.
not around.
He's 12-year-old boy. What can you
Yeah, and
expect?
they're conniving and secretive.
If y'all are not subscribed to PUSA Studios, y'all reach out. You subscribe to him. They do a lot of helping you develop your channel by subscribers, meeting new, networking with other channels, and he has a lot. They have a lot of good information on Tuesday nights when they are doing their tech talk about how you really ought to set up your channel and what you should be saying where and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
they're really worth it. He and his wife, they're really worth the time.
Well, and I say talk like how you would talk if you were in a professional setting, or you can joke around. I mean, like if you went to church, if you do like a lot of swearing or inappropriate conversation, and trust me, I can swear with the best of them. You're gonna have some people are gonna be turned off by that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything against swearing, because trust me. I mean, sometimes I'll be like doing something and I'll be dropping a whole bunch of swear words. I'm like, oh, I should lay off of that a little bit, But anyway.
Oh, look at there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
Good.
Hi.
Oh, sorry. I have my other half with me. I don't think you can see her in the camera right now.
Oh, I see your hands, or either that you're being groped.
That's right. She's better to look at here. I'm going to give her.
I don't think so.
There she is.
There she is.
Hello. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hi, hi.
Hi.
This is Mr. and Mrs. PUSA Studios.
How are you?
We're doing good. I was just trying to get people to. I just jumped on to tell everybody that did not see your show tonight. They need to go over there and replay it because there's a lot of stuff going on over there.
Well,
Thank you. I do appreciate that a lot. Thank you. I think it is going to be important for a lot of people and creators in general. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, like you said, there's so many like gray areas or not defined areas in there, especially like all these kids that have channels. Like I see Crankbait Crisis in your channel a lot.
Yes.
He's about 12, 13 years old. All he's doing is fishing.
Yep.
It's his, how is that going to affect his channel?
But there's a great example of one is a couple of months ago. I remember because you meet channels, they're just channel names. You don't know until you go look at them. And there was one that joined a girl about fishing, and I think, oh, that's cool. Okay, girls into fishing, great. That's something interesting. It's always great to have new channels in the mix. So I go and look, and she does live streams. And if she was 13, I'm 98. I would say probably 10 or 11. Fishing down by the creek. This is all normal, and she's not doing anything per se wrong. But there's everybody in there, I would say, was mostly all guys 45 to 50. And I'm just looking at this, and it's like there's so much wrong with what's going on right now in this live stream. And nobody was being over the line, nothing that would raise flags per se, but it was the whole scene of it, of how these lines all get so grayed in. And most probably there were very good intentions. But as a parent, right away, that sends off tons of warning bells. And I'm thinking, if my daughter and I seen her doing a live stream and this was going on, like that would be the end of the YouTube days right there in the spot. Yeah, I would be taken down. That's why my kids don't even they've wanted it, but they haven't had it at this point yet, because I just don't want them into it, especially now being involved with it and seeing what it can be like on here. YouTube is not perfect, and unfortunately, in these rules, a lot of good creators that are in the gray area without even realizing it pay. But on devil's advocate too, YouTube had to do something because there's been a lot of things go on here that were pushing the boundaries for many years. And
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
you were mentioning iDubbbz.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, every other word out of his mouth is the F-bomb or even worse than that.
yep.
And
Go ahead.
you know, he has a lot of kid followers because they think it's funny because this grown, well, he's not an old man, but he's a grown man and he's talking like he's doing.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of gamers that, you know, off-colored talk is part of their shtick.
right.
And they have a lot of kid followers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But, you know, we were talking, Tara and I were talking before y'all came in, or you might have heard us. It's like, you know, people they're not supposed to be telling you how to raise your kids, but, you know, somebody's got to create a few boundaries because apparently parents are not, you know, setting those boundaries. And now there's a lot of channels that's going to have to pay the price because there's such a confusion and gray areas on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the problem because it is scary. I mean, I believe there should be some ray of variety on here. I mean, I'm not saying I want everything gone.
Right.
It's always the small population that ruins it for everybody. It's the ones that showed people that eating Tide Pods was a good idea. The one that put a book up to his head and his wife shot him with a 45, thinking the book would stop in front of their child.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I didn't know about
yeah,
that.
he was murdered, what, a year ago?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
she just got sentenced. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, now the child has no parents. The father's dead and the mother's in prison for it.
You know, you got to have a level of common sense. You know, you can't let the stupidity run rapid.
Yeah, definitely. But that's the problem when it's such a wide open forum here. It's the Wild West of this is our Wild West, and our day and age is basically the internet, and YouTube is the one of the frontiers of that. We're doing things like right now. Look at, you're talking to us. We're in Montreal, people from around the world watching. I mean, this is a technological feat, the lights that nobody's ever seen, that we can do this with just a computer or a phone for that matter. But with it comes a whole new set of terms to try and live through this that we've never had to deal with before.
Right.
Mhm.
And we're talking, you know, I mean, yes, it's a US based company, but I mean, every country has its own policies on what it deems as appropriate for kids. Minors in age can vary between country to country. And then you take all the fringe, the tiny population that goes through all that. That really throws things out of whack on here.
No, in your show, you were talking about, you know, Disney creators, you know, people with Disney shows. Now, are you thinking just people that are talking about the Disney programs? Or are you thinking about, I mean, talking about like the people that do the Tim Tracker, you know, they do all these Disney programs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's going to affect them too? This whole child.
Well, look at it this way. You know, the way they're probably going to look at it in the end is if the theme is something to do with Disney, and there's, you know, we have friends that do it. So I'm not picking on them. I feel so bad for them because I know what they're doing and what their intentions are. But I'm just looking from the algorithm point of view. It's probably going to have a trouble with a lot of them because there's some grown men that do collect the stuff with their families. They're big into it, but they're also friends. They're also grown men.
Right.
I've watched them over 2 years. They're not downing it down, but they're having like a glass of scotch while they discuss it over 3 hours. It's not like they're whooping, drunk, and swearing.
Right.
But that's exactly where the algorithm's going to probably hit there in the gray area with all it hurts, because they're going to look at it and say, well, there's a bunch of kids' products behind a kid's topic. And forget that you're grown men and forget that you're talking about it as grown men. Still, kids might be enticed to come and watch this, so we're going to deal with it.
You know, the technology that YouTube has, I got a content strike one time, or warning or whatever,
Right.
and because there was music in the background. I had to turn my I went to the video, I turned it up wide open, the sound, and I could barely hear it in the background.
Yeah.
So then I just went in and stripped the sound off of it and did a voiceover and put it back up there and everything was fine.
Right.
But like I said, I had to crank it wide open, my speakers wide open, just to be able to hear just a little bit of that music in the background.
The algorithm got a better ear than we do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's automatic ID matching,
Yeah.
so therefore it doesn't matter how loud it is, really.
It goes by a sonograph, like a thumbprint. Like, you know how we use GPS?
Right.
Really, it's illegal in theory because we're using Army satellites. The same as like Shazam on your phone that identifies a song in an elevator. It picks it up by making a digital thumbprint and comparing them. That's exactly what happens with the algorithm. It goes in, sees it, and just makes that connection. It doesn't know any of the context, the volume, or nothing. As long as it can distinguish it, it's enough to trigger it.
Now, with the new copyright changes, you actually would be able to keep it.
It's so like I said, I was kind of getting kind of confused when y'all were talking, and I think there's points that y'all were kind of confused about what's going on too. And that's the reason when I jumped online to say, hey, y'all need to go over there and look at this thing and listen to these people and see what's going on, and of course always go over there and listen to them because they have some really great information, especially on Tuesday nights when they're doing the tech talk.
We try to be very careful. Like tonight, we've tried to, as much as possible, tell people as soon as we went into assumption mode, because that is something that's very rampant on here. People get it, they run with it, not understand. And then we get everybody come back. Oh my God, is this true? Is it true that you do this on the channel? Your channel will blow up in front of you. I mean, we hear it all on a weekly basis,
Right.
At 5 times a week to 10 times a week, somebody comes to us. I just heard on a live stream that the monetization's gone up from 1,000 to 4,000, at least 5 to 10 times a week.
Oh my God, yes.
Every week somebody's doing a new live stream telling people that
the requirement is gone from 1,000 subs to 4,000 subs.
Yeah,
well, people assume, but it's lies.
Right.
Like it's not true.
It's an urban myth.
Yeah, it's a legend. But there's tons of people that are going around talking about it, and we get this question all the time.
And that's been going for about 8 months now.
There's nothing like that from YouTube so far, at least.
And let me clarify something. I keep saying Mr. and Mrs. PUSA. PUSA is the town that Sinja's from.
Yeah.
That's not their last name.
No. No. It's a little rural town in eastern Latvia where Xenia's mom grew up. Xenia's originally from Latvia, which is northeast Europe. And her mom passed away of cancer. So when we started our video photography business, we were looking for a name, and we ended up calling it PUSA Studios, naming it after the town as kind of like a tribute to her.
Cool.
My hold on just a second.
Sure.
My twins are from
Oh Jesus Christ!
are from Russia.
Yeah.
And my oldest one, my twins are from Ukraine, and my oldest one is from Russia.
That is awesome.
We adopted from all 3 of them.
That was a great stories, by the way. We were enjoying it that night.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. It is really cool, especially because I don't have direct connection to the foster homes there.
Yes,
I know the situations that are going on, so definitely. Yeah, they have a very good life, I'm sure, with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. We've tried our best. It's been a challenge because they had some learning disabilities, and we've had to deal with them. But that's the whole orphanage mentality. Let me see what my wife wants. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Now, if you have any questions in the chat, maybe we can answer some in the meantime.
Sure. And how are you today, Tara?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, thank you. Sorry for just popping in like this.
No, it's cool because you guys know what you're talking about. I came on to help Tom because he was all on his own, but I really don't know a lot about this stuff. I didn't even really know about these updates they're doing to YouTube.
It's complex because they're coming in heavier probably than they ever did, but at the same time too, we haven't gotten they've laid out the track work, but there's still a lot more to come. So it is a bit confusing on that part. The thing is to start really looking at your channel right away. see there's things that you did that could attract children that aren't good, and it's not that everybody here does like racy stuff. It's more being proactive so you don't have any trouble in the future, because especially when they implement anything new, it usually goes on the very conservative end of the decision. They'd rather just take it down than have a problem. So it's you know as well as I do. There's people in here that do stuff really bad, and they know when it goes down why. They don't fight it. They know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's the gray area that I feel so bad for. And we're getting people lately that's been losing their channels with not even an explanation from YouTube. So, yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. It's
I know, like my son, I have a 12-year-old son who he'd like to do YouTube, and I'm just not mentally ready for him to do it because I just, like I said, like social media. I mean, you open it up to so many people out there in an audience.
It got quiet.
You just never know what they're like.
I'm worried about the ridicule they get sometimes, because I see it even with adults. It's so over the top. Like it can take a happy child that goes on here and really tear them down to nothing, because it's with adults as well. I see it all the time.
Yes.
I despise the 1K, 4K. I've been an opponent for it, and we started during it. Well, at the beginning of it, we already had the channel. I so hate everything that came with the 1K, 4K. It started such a feeding frenzy on YouTube that people went to some of the lowest that I can't believe when I'm watching what they've done to try and get there, thinking that they're going to be rich. It should be exciting to do it. It's the feeding frenzy that was created from it is so terrifying. Like, I'm watching adults go on worse than 10-year-olds, 5-year-olds.
Oh, there is, I've seen where you've had, well, we had somebody in the reseller community, some like troll called into his local town and acted like he was him and said, I have my wife tied up and my kids and I'm going to kill them and then kill myself.
Yep.
He had a SWAT team show up at his house. I mean, that's really scary, because you do have people out there they call, I didn't know doxing. Honestly, I didn't even know what the word meant until I looked into it some. But you have like a community out there that will dox you, that will try to drag up your information and put it public. That will, if they'll call CPS on your children. They will, if you're like somebody that's maybe on Social Security disability, they'll call Social Security and say she's fraudulently collecting disability. I mean, they like try to destroy you, which in that way it is very scary.
And they're fighting like this is like, say, like for instance, a channel that has 400 subscribers versus a channel that has 700 subscribers. Like, I mean, there's no logic. Not that it should be done at any size. It just shows you how low it's gone down into it.
Yeah.
25 channels in a month and a half that got doxed.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that
swatted.
got swatted.
Yeah, that's what it's called, swatted, which to me is scary as heck. I mean,
definitely.
I couldn't even imagine you have police come to your house or whatever because somebody calls in this crazy threat, and now you have to be investigated, pulled out of your house, make sure it was safe, which it was, and the guy. But I mean, you have a child in the house and she's watching her dad, being put in custody by police until they can assess the situation.
We have one grandmother that was 73 years old. She was swatted.
Oh, wow.
Said that she was under attack by her grandson. They come flying in our house.
Huh.
It's
it is amazing.
It is. It's a sad state of affairs, that's for sure.
Yeah, people are. And I'm sorry, my wife I need to get her a replacement cup for her blood pressure.
No worries. No worries.
It's ridiculous that people cannot act like grown adults and they do stuff like that. They really need to be maybe developing a YouTube channel that's worth something where they devote all that time to learning to edit and to create, than causing problems for people.
Yeah.
Every 1,000 subscribers after 2,000, I always say 3,000 is especially the magic number. Every 1,000 after that, you get a new group that stood up by you, believed in you, and nobody else did against all this stuff. Now they despise you. You're the worst thing on earth. And every 1,000, the ones that stood up by you in the past, now they've turned against. It's unbelievable how that works. And I've watched it happen literally every 1,000 it happens.
Yeah.
You know,
No, they
I want-
just
Oh, Craig wants you to drop the link again, Tom.
okay. They just dropped. They just hit 10,000.
thank you to all you guys.
Yes,
By the
thank
way,
you
thank
so
you so
much.
much.
So they're getting big time now.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They're just dropping a bucket. Really?
Don't say that. Don't say that. They'll start getting doxxed.
There's channels that gain 30,000 a day, way more than us. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we get the same. Anybody who's monetized, we're going to the exact same. Oh, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh my God, this is a real treat tonight. How good to see you.
You too.
Craig and I talk a lot behind the scenes about the stuff that because he follows your channel too, about what the stuff that you say and all the changes that they go on in YouTube. And
Thank you.
so
You guys have been really good to us, by the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
it's and we really appreciate all the work that y'all do, because y'all put in a lot of work into this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
They were there right in the beginning when this all happened. I mean, I remember them coming around and stuff. And I've been over there too. I mean, they have a really good channel.
Yeah, they do. Have y'all started getting any cold weather up there?
Yeah, it's gonna be plus 11 this night.
That's Celsius. So
So that's what is it, 50?
we're gonna jump right into that one.
The European.
Yeah, we only talk non-metric here.
So what is 11 Celsius? Is that like 50?
Plus 36.
Oh,
So right now it's 59 degrees here, right?
So it's gonna be 50s at night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Lord.
You
Please-
can-
I'm from the far northern Wisconsin, and I will not miss that this winter.
I think it was 89 degrees here today.
Wow.
It was 93 here.
Oh, that's nice though.
No, it's hot.
I do. People don't realize, but Montreal, actually, our summer weather is very comparable to Miami. We usually go into the hundreds, 87, 90% humidity here all summer. It's actually very hot summers, but very cold winters.
We had over 104 for days this year. Last year even.
Wow.
Was, yeah.
I have a friend that lives in Arizona, and he said, I was talking to him one day, and he said, I said, well, how hot is it out there? And he said, it's 104. And I said, but it's a dry heat.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Tom, I can go out and fry an egg on the hood of my car. Hot is hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
That
That's
would be
true.
way too hot for me. I wouldn't be able to live there.
When I was a kid, my mom sent me on this bus trip with like my grandmother and another elderly member, but it was all old people, and they went from Wisconsin to Arizona like in end of July or August. And I remember because they had drove through the night, they were going by the desert, and they pull over and like, oh, maybe you'd like to see the desert. Those people, because they're on that air conditioned bus, they stepped off, and it was like you could watch them. It was like a weight pushing down on you, and they just started dropping like flies because they were used to Wisconsin weather, air conditioning, and then you dumped them to walk around in the desert, and they just could not take it.
Oh, yeah.
I think that similar things happened in Europe like this year because they got hit with like high 100, 102, 104, which never happens at all in Central Europe, especially. And nobody has central, AC there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was if you have it, well, fine, you can try to survive it, it's fine inside, but nobody has it. It's not a common thing, the same as freezers, things like that. It's just not as common in Europe, for
Bridget's here, Tom.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We better start talking Disney again, right?
She and Maggie are playing around with starting a Disney channel, and
Hey, Bridget.
They've got lots of knowledge.
yeah, they do. But this whole thing about with these new revisions coming up, and that's one thing I was going to ask you. And I thought about when I was back there finding this cup for my wife. Are they going to like just like the Disney channels? Are they going to actually pull those channels, or are they going to just demonetize them if they're already monetized, or what exactly is going to happen with something like that?
Well, there are a couple scenarios that can happen. See, like if they will deem a Disney content as geared towards children, then they are going to be, you will have to categorize it yourself as kid targeted. And if you don't, then now speculation, most likely you will get a strike because you're not going within the guidelines.
The community guidelines.
Yeah. And that falls under the same rules as any other guidelines. If you get 3 of them, then your channel is getting deleted. So it's just as a result of that, it can possibly be. No, they're not going to be pulling channels away just because they have that content, but not complying with the new rules might end up in losing the channel.
And
So just like you would get a copyright strike.
Yes.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It all follows the same. It's like they've just done that with the age restricting stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
the onus is now on you to do so. The same will be the onus on you to deem it as child geared towards children. And if you don't, you suffer the consequences if the algorithm doesn't see, that you were supposed to and you didn't.
Right. I'm really amazed at how in depth the algorithm is, or the multiple algorithms that are out there.
Yep.
And that's why I made the comment earlier. I may not have been on point, but I think it's a lot more detailed than people think it is.
Yeah, I agree.
It knows a lot more than people think it knows.
I've always said it's like and the engineers as it's learning. I don't want to get all tinfoil hattish about the whole thing. I don't think it's like taking our credit card numbers at this time. But the cow does get out of the fence, but not out of the farm. And sometimes it takes even the engineers 2 weeks to kind of figure out where the algorithm is kind of leading to. That's why sometimes you'll hear a rush of channels getting strikes and they don't really have a full answer yet. The algorithm has kind of picked up a new learning habit and they're trying to see why it's looking at that way so they can, either corral it back or run with it.
Right.
It's an amazing feat. It's one of the greatest computers of all time is making these decisions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's still a computer in the end, and that's where a lot of people get hit with good intentions. The algorithm doesn't understand context very well. It's getting better, but it's by no means a human review.
Right.
So,
But machine learning can take you so far though.
Exactly. So it's to stay up its path. I mean, if everybody wants to be safe, do nothing that crosses over with adult and child entertainment whatsoever.
Well, like you were talking about earlier, that gray area. Just stay away from it.
Yep.
I
It's
mean,
not worth it.
whatever that gray area is,
Yeah.
I hate to say I'm non-confrontational, but that's the approach I take.
YouTube is like getting into a new city. And even though you don't know the city, when you start to walk down certain streets, you get a bit of a gut feeling, whether it's good or bad. We all get gut feelings on YouTube, and I'll get channels. They almost want you to say yes. Hey, I have an idea for a channel. I'm sure it's a great idea, but I want to say, and it's already your gut is telling you because you asked us what we thought. So already, you're starting to feel a bit iffy about the situation. If you want to stay as safe as possible, as soon as you get that gut feeling, listen to it and avoid it. Most likely, it is throwing you further in that gray area.
That's true.
But it will also get people that says, "Oh yeah, but I have a cousin who has a channel and he's done this or that for 5 years." And I also have a friend who runs stop signs all the time, and he hasn't gotten a ticket in years until he gets caught.
Right. Oh yeah.
It's no guarantees. It's not like it's foolproof. It just hasn't gotten caught.
Just
I
because
think
somebody's getting away with it doesn't mean that it's right or it's legal in these cases.
That's right. And they're the ones that get their channel shut down, and then they get on the high horse about it. Well, I'm sorry to happen, but you knew what was coming. You played with fire. There's certain ones that really get in a mess for nothing. Once again, that's the ones really on the edge of the gray area that was so innocent. But I'll get channels, well, I got a strike and I don't know what to do and I can't live stream. Well, what happened? Well, I had 18 AC/DC songs playing on top of it. Well, I wonder what happened. Cry all you want. Can you help me fight it? Well, no. Why we're not wasting our time onto it. You're in the wrong.
Yeah, we get the same kind of thing on. Majority of our crowd sells on eBay, and everybody talks about what can you sell, what can't you sell, and when you start talking about those things you can't sell, they're like, "What? I see 50 people selling them."
Yeah.
Just because they're selling means they just haven't been caught yet.
Exactly.
Same kind of thing here.
Sometimes people slip stuff through. I mean, like on the eBay thing, and for whatever reason, it doesn't get picked up.
No doubt.
I understand the playing rules before you jump on a platform.
You do.
I mean,
you got to. That I agree with fully. And even when we tell people tonight, we're giving the links to that, like go and check it out for yourself. Read it 10 times. You have to. It's so important to know because in the end, maybe we got something wrong. We're not perfect. Everybody is, and it's best from yourself, from the source, as much as you can. on top of it. We're just bringing the news to people. Now we're always hoping people do like you guys are doing tonight, discussing it and going and looking at it for themselves too. It
Right.
helps.
Well, thanks, Bridget.
When you were talking earlier, when I mentioned crankbait crisis, and then you mentioned the girl that was fishing.
Mhm.
When you started talking about that, I'm like, okay, what is she fishing for? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's the thought I was. That's
Yeah.
immediately the direction I went to.
Yep.
She's not some young girl. She's some 20-year-old that's
No,
looking for viewers. But in
exactly.
fact, she was a young girl fishing.
It was the creepiest thing. One of the creepier things. I mean, I've seen, what we do. You run into everything. I'm not a pruder, but there's a lot. That was one of the creepiest, eeriest feeling. And all I thought too after was, imagine if a independent reporter happened to walk into that live stream and caught this going on.
Right.
That would have been on every national magazine within days, and YouTube would have been up to its throat. Every big advertiser would have been out of there so fast, and they would have had a firestorm on their hands. That's what they're trying to avoid. They're done ending up on the news because every time they do, they get less money from the advertisers. They get into a big fiasco. They're demonized by major media outlets, and they just want to clean it up some because they can't corral everything going on here. And we can talk free speech. We can talk all this stuff. This is a private business. We have no contract with YouTube. They have no obligations to us whatsoever. And as hard as it is for us, I do that because I do see some hate sometimes on the bigger YouTubers, but I feel better. I feel worse for them. Because you get a channel like Linus Tech Tips. He's at 9 million subscribers. He has 30 employees working for him full-time, high-priced, editors and stuff like that. His whole career is built around a platform he doesn't have any more rights to than we do. So they have to toe the line so carefully on here because anything could end at a moment. They can drop any of us tomorrow, and they don't really owe us an explanation.
Yeah.
We're kind of bored. We're not even contractors on here. We have zero rights as creators.
They're sort of like Amazon. They're allowing us to Amazon. They allow us to resell or sell to their customers.
Yep.
YouTube is allowing us to create content to be, to show to their viewers.
Yep. There's a lot of fine print, but none of it's about us. The whole fine print is about YouTube.
Yeah, it is their sandbox.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else that's got a sandbox like YouTube.
People talk and they're
true.
D-line. Sorry, go ahead, hon.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to agree. That's true. It's
Yeah.
still the biggest audience for content is YouTube. There's plenty of them out there.
We're the biggest, second biggest search engine in the world after Google is YouTube.
2 billion viewers. You can't beat it with anything else. So.
I don't know about everybody else, but if I want to look up something or figure something out, I go to YouTube before I go to Google. I mean,
Most
Yep.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think YouTube is vastly gaining on Google.
Oh yeah. Years ago, we were lucky when we had a point list that we could find on a page. Now we want to see everything done for us step-by-step in video. We can pause, replay. I mean, it's an ultimate guide.
Right.
I remember when we got AOL, and we just thought that was just cool as hell because we could because AOL had an online encyclopedia.
Yep. It was the cat's meow. It really was. And it was for the time. It really was.
Was. Everybody was there, there was other types net services, but AOL they started providing what people wanted. And made it really friendly.
And things evolve so fast now.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell my kids, I can remember when we had 2 telephones in our house. One was on the kitchen wall and one was inside mom and dad's bedroom,
Right.
grandparents' bed. That's it. Nobody walked around with a telephone because there was no such thing as mobile telephones.
No. I wouldn't want to see the pocket you would put those old rotary dials into.
And it's I had a bag phone once upon a time.
Wow.
I had people would say, are you carrying a purse now? No, that's my phone.
I went pretty far back with modems and dial-up, like 300 baud, which was very slow. One of the first ones that came out. I didn't go back as far as the modular ones where you had to put the phone down on the suction cups.
Right. you know,
That's crazy.
and my kids don't realize the fact that I remember when getting 100 meg stick of RAM would cost you $300.
Yep.
And now you can buy, you know, 8 gigabyte stick of RAM for, you know, $75.
I was about to say $1.75.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's US, not Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. That's $400 Canadian if you do the currency.
It's
The 2 toonies and a loony.
That's right. That's right.
and you know, the telephones are, you know, they've made telephones so thin, and then what do? They create like the auto box to protect it in, and the auto box is 3/4 of an inch thick. So what's the point of having the really thin phone if you got to put it in an auto box?
But you know, just a while ago, like my parents had a Zenith 27-inch for 35 years. My sister and I prayed for that television to die so many times. You know, we couldn't wait to get rid of it, and it wouldn't. But back then, that's when my parents bought that TV. That was in their mindset. This is going to last us for a long time. Now we got a good TV. But we as consumers don't even want that today. I don't buy
that TV for them was super expensive. I mean, compared to what a TV is now, I mean, it was a huge investment. It was like, oh my God, we bought this TV. It's a big investment. I remember how expensive they were. I mean, you used to have the TV repairman come to your house when they were on the fritz. I mean, I don't think people do that anymore at all.
Buying that TV back then was probably like people going out to lease a car now. It was as much fanfare as that. You know, it was a big event, and, you know, the manager probably come out and talk to you for a while.
And if it had to be fixed, all they do is come out and replace a tube or two.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. It was like if you walked in your friend's house and they had the big console TV in the wood cabinet, you're like, whoa, you guys are really fancy.
Like the stereo built into it.
It was part of the decor.
I mean, it's just the mindset that we're in now. You know, I mean, my kids are 22 and 21. My twins are 21. Just in their time, technology has changed. So, you know, and for an old man like me, I'll be 62 in December. You know, I've gone from black and white TVs the size of a small import car to, you know, a 72-inch TV that's, you know, ½ inch thick.
You're not old.
Were you listening to like Little Orphan Annie on the radio?
No, I did not listen to Little Orphan Annie. Now I have, but that's only because I was listening
in front of the radio and listen to like Orphan Annie while you guys are going through your war ration book.
No. Wow. I was born in 57, not 37.
They weren't doing the Charleston.
Now, Andrew, are you a native Canadian?
Yeah, I grew up in eastern Quebec along the Appalachians.
Yeah, I've been all over Canada, but I've never been east of like Alberta.
Oh wow, yeah.
I spent a lot of time over in Western Canada.
Well, we lived in Saskatchewan for a while. That's where our youngest daughter was born. I was a truck driver out there for a while. I hauled crude oil in the Balkan oil patch.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've only ever been to Sioux Lookout on a fishing trip.
I used to do a lot in the States. I think I've been to about 40 states altogether when I was a truck driver when I was younger, and then when I worked for the music company as well, between the two of them. So I spent a good bit of time in the US.
Did you haul freight, or did you work for like moving bands around, that kind of thing?
Oh no, refrigerated mostly.
Okay.
And some flatbed.
Because a buddy of mine, before he retired from truck driving, he had his own truck, but he moved several of the big bands, you know, rock bands.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He would drive. He would sleep all day, and when they would start breaking down that stage at 11 o'clock, by 1 o'clock or 1:30, he was on the road headed to the next place.
Yeah, that's good job.
It was a good job. He said it paid best of all the trucking he did, but he said it was really intense because once you pulled out of that studio or whatever, where your next location, you had to be there.
There was no gives or takes on that.
That's right, because they had to have everything that was in that truck when you got there.
it's a very stressful. It's one of those jobs where you hurry up and wait for a long time, and then bang, everything takes hold, and then the clock is your god for the next couple hours to get there for sure.
I started watching this thing on Netflix. It's about some Canadian road, and it's about the record drivers.
Oh, yes,
You know which one I'm talking about?
Rescue 401.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Mhm.
And it's like the most treacherous section of road in Canada, and it's like the busiest road in Canada.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's another. There's two shows. There's one called Rescue 401. That's the highway between Montreal and Windsor, Ontario, going into Detroit. And the one you're talking about is that happens in BC, British Columbia, and Alberta. Yeah, on the highway.
And I mean, well, I've always lived in the South. Okay, I live in the part of the country where we get 2 inches. We even start talking about getting to 16 degrees, and they start shutting schools down.
I used to think you were from New York before I
Oh
met you.
yeah, I don't pack the cat.
Because you call yourself Queen City Picker, so I just assume you're from Queens.
Charlotte, North Carolina, which is named after Queen Charlotte. Okay, let's get that clarified.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's the reason
That's cool.
it's called the Queen
I didn't
City.
know that either.
Yeah, her husband was the one that was the George that lost the United States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you know, I watched that show, and these guys are working, and you know, I know there's a lot of drama in it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when it's 8 degrees below zero, and they're trying to work outside in it in the middle of the night, you know, that's got to be unbearable up there.
Shoot, 8 degrees below zero, that ain't nothing.
When I worked in Saskatchewan Holland Oil, New Year's Day 2010, I went to work and it was minus 50 degrees Celsius. So minus 50 in Fahrenheit is
That's still minus 18 to 20, give or take.
that's what I thought. Yeah, somewhere in that area. So and
Yeah,
sorry?
last February in northern Wisconsin, Vilas County, it was 32 below zero.
Wow.
We have a friend, and they're also we're all resellers, and her name's Nikki. She's the popular picker. She lives in Duluth, or right outside of Duluth, Minnesota, and she was talking about it. It's supposed to be 32 degrees for the next month, and I'm like, why the hell are you still living up there?
and Swamp Picker's right, by the way. It was minus 58 Fahrenheit that day.
Oh God!
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it was minus 50 Celsius. Right, minus 58 Fahrenheit.
Why do you people live up there?
I have a couple of them, these coffee cups, and I want to say it's like White Bear Lake in Canada, which I don't even know where it is, but it's like their record is it got to 72 below or something, so they made these coffee cups about it.
Oh, yes.
I think it's White Bear Lake. It's something, or White Lake or White Bear Lake. It's something like that.
Like in Montreal here, the city, we have the biggest underground metro in the world. And if you look at the map of it, about 10 kilometers of all downtown is connected by an underground city. So it's not just the metros, but all the buildings are all connected underneath as well. And that was a way to combat the city shutting down in snowstorms, because we could get 2 feet in less than 24 hours. So that was their way of combating. So as long as you can get into the city, you can operate, go to shopping malls, businesses, everything without ever having to come outside.
Uh-huh.
It was designed for that.
My neighbor two houses down is from Buffalo, New York. He and his wife are both, born and raised in Buffalo. Well, about 4 years ago, they got like 80 feet of snow in about 3 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
well, he said his wife could leave her house and be in her office in 45 minutes. It took her for like 4 hours to get home.
Yeah.
By the time she got home, she had already looked on her company website, found a job in Charlotte, saw who the contact was, which was her former supervisor. She still had his phone number. She called him and said, "I hear you looking for some work for an assistant." And he said, "When can you start?" So when she finally got home, she walked in, and this is her husband telling me this. She walked in, said her purse and her keys on the counter in the kitchen, and said, "In 2 weeks, I'm starting in Charlotte, North Carolina. You guys can go with me or you can stay, but I've had enough." So I mean, he's like, it was like bam, 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 and then they listed their house and it sold real quick.
Oh my god.
So you know, I know people that have been raised up there. They're used to all that kind of weather and whatnot. But you know, I'm old. I'm from the South. If it gets down to 16 degrees, it's cold down here. Even though back in '84, God, that's
Alabama.
do what? Do what, Craig?
Yeah, down in Alabama, if there's even a threat of snow or anything, the state shuts down.
Oh.
Well, yeah, nobody's set up for it. Nobody's got winter tires. There's no equipment to work with it. It's just as bad as us getting tons of snow. And for you guys, it's like a natural disaster almost hitting because there's nothing to deal with it.
And you know, I've lived in Charlotte now for 25 years. I was raised right across the border in South Carolina. These people can't drive when it's sunny and 70. We don't. When there's the least bit of snow and ice on the road, we stay at home.
Now, when it's minus 30 Celsius here, and I remember when Xenia first came to Canada, like she gets snow in Latvia. She was not used to it, but it gets a lot colder here. And we're downtown, and you'll see all the girls like mini skirts, no stockings on, high heel shoes, freezing, running between the bars at night. There's almost that attitude, the cold ain't slowing us down. We're just going to fight back tooth and nail into it. And her jaw was dropped. She's like, oh my God. Like, why are they not bundled up in snowsuits, you know, like from the cold?
And then we went to Saskatchewan, where it's minus 50 Celsius in winter, and it's normal. And everybody goes to school and work outside. And yeah.
Wow.
No, see, but if y'all were to move down here, and the first time they called school because we've got a dusting of snow, your kids would just think they would flip out. You know, it's like,
God,
what's wrong with these people down here? It's just a little bit of snow.
Well, they had the first day of snow last year, first time in 9 years.
Yeah, my son was so excited. All the cold weather, all the snow we've had, he's never had a snow day till last year, his first time.
Rural areas, get it more often, obviously, but nevertheless, we get a lot of snow here. But still, it's very rare for actually to have it a snow day. We actually had a water day last year too.
Yeah,
there was so much flooding from the rain.
Yeah, you got hit with a big freak storm that came after. We had the coldest snowstorm in 100 years. And a week later, we had a rainstorm that shut down half the city. It was the most bizarre winter ever.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I said, if they didn't explain it while I was gone, all three of us and probably half the people in the chat, we have we're resellers. We sell on eBay and Amazon and whatnot.
Right.
And I mentioned earlier to them, I said, if a child is watching our YouTube channels, then they are the most boring children that ever walked the face of the earth. Or either that or they're going to be, billionaires by the time they're 21.
Right.
Yes.
That is true.
True.
I mean, it's just not like we have really high energy, Well, I bought this at a yard sale or a flea market or a storage unit, and sold it for this amount of money. Oh, wow, that's cool. And
there's a
you can probably see kids' eyes just glaze over,
But
like
there's a couple of little entrepreneurs in there that are loving it. Yes.
Yeah. But go ahead.
I think the challenge that a lot of the creators in this space have is getting outside of the immediate niche market,
Yep.
Because our community is decent size, but it's not like it's hundreds of thousands of people,
We got this unique view for what we do. Is we get to see so many niches and how they operate. We get to see so many, because you've been on our channel,
right?
We sometimes in a night can maybe have 45 different niche groups in there or more. And we get to know them more intimately. They tell us about their problems, their ups, their downs. That's one of the number one problems with niche groups is, bear with me. I always use this example is like when you're in elementary school, they teach you about the world. You have your core, then your inner crust, and your outer crust.
Right.
I've always said the core is what you guys are doing right now. This is where you start. You get to know your first peers. You learn from each other. You're what you do. Our channel, for instance, I've always thought is the gateway to that next layer. That one where you meet people. Oh, this guy is a prospector, but he's interested in doing, or he's a gamer, but interested in doing this.
Right.
That they take, and you learn to collaborate with them, so you get a whole new group of people coming in. You know, hey, I'm a mechanic, but I'm in. You find a way to make that work. Then
Right.
the third layer will always be viewers, people who don't create anything, who just watch content, and that's the biggest growth, but it's the hardest to get.
Oh, definitely.
And that happens more than ever. I watch that where it almost becomes these niches start watching each other so much that they never get out of their group. And I'm not saying you guys are doing, I'm just saying I see this in a lot of niches. So yeah, you
Right.
always want to be careful to stay close, but to always broaden your horizons. And I know
Right.
when you guys come to our channels, you're meeting new people already. I'm not doing a plug for us, but in general,
Plug away.
you're meeting
Oh, yeah.
people that don't do what you do, but they're already liking it. And I see them coming into your streams. That's a
I'm-
good thing. That's spreading your horizons. That's giving you a chance because they maybe know 20 people they can recommend you to. It's like little universes, all in galaxies, all within a universe that don't know the other ones exist.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get in those other areas without making your current viewers, your current subscribers unhappy. You know, because you're stretching to those other areas potentially. You know.
Of course, that's the other issue with it as well, and is keeping some. But it's a balance between always keeping them first and foremost happy because they're the ones who made you, and always making sure that they don't feel washed out as other ones come in. Showing the
Right.
benefits why that's good these ones are coming, but also never forget how much, like you guys seen probably tonight you were in there. There's a couple of channels I thank because they've been with us from the very beginning.
Right.
Happy Trails Hiking, they were there when we only had 4 or 5 people in the chat.
Right.
That I believe heavily it's my duty, even though I don't shout out channels per se when they come in. They deserve a little extra attention because without them we wouldn't have anything.
Right.
But I also then say hi to everybody in the chat. You know, I do it as a list. There's all kinds of ways. Audience appreciation is everything on YouTube, whether you make videos, whether you make live streams. The day you stop appreciating them, what they do, even big ones like Peter McKinnon, Casey Neistat, it's like going to a rock concert. Bon Jovi doesn't say hello to each person individually and shake their hands. But during the concert, he points out a girl here and there, and hey, you in the red dress, you know, thank you so much. Loves your energy. Everybody feels embraced, even though he's not acknowledging everybody personally. He's still acknowledging that there is an audience there. They are listening. He appreciates them coming to see him tonight. It's the same thing on YouTube. And as the bigger you get, the more you learn how to do that without doing it. Because if you did it person with each person for 5 minutes, you would never get anything done.
Yeah.
Right.
I have met some great channels coming into your show about stuff that I would never have ever
Good.
even thought about
Yep.
if it hadn't been, coming in and their networking. And people have come in and they've looked at my videos and they're like, I got an eBay store that I've had ever since eBay was started, or eBay, account.
That's
I
right.
think I'm gonna throw some stuff up and see if I can't sell it, because that little extra money would help me buy this gadget for my drone system.
Yep.
Or, I really want this super high dollar rice cooker, because they have a cooking channel.
Yep.
And I'm like, if there's anything I can do, anything I can help you with, reach out to me and let me know. And
Perfect.
so, it's a case where, the biggest thing is that you learn a lot of people. But, talking about expanding your channel a little bit, I've put up some videos. Actually, this time 3 weeks ago, my wife and I were in Charleston, South Carolina, getting ready to get on a cruise ship. And we went to the Bahamas. And there's so much construction going on down there. In my mind, with that hurricane sitting over Nassau, turning like it's doing, I'm thinking all this construction is probably been knocked down.
Mhm.
But I put some videos that I made. Well, I compiled off of a corrupted SD card that I ended up having.
Yeah.
And I had this one person say, "Why are you putting cruise videos on there?" And I'm like, it's my channel. I wanted to because I have friends that don't retail or resell, but it's easy for them to come to my channel and see the video from our vacation. And I said, and also it's another thing is you know, maybe somebody would like to go on a cruise, and that will give them the little bit more enthusiasm about reselling, about to list a few more products or list, you know, to sell a little bit more to take a trip. But the main reason is because I wanted to. It was my channel, you know.
You have every right to. Exactly. You have every
And
right to.
and then I've had a lot of people, you know, they really liked it, and because you know, as we've talked about amongst ourselves, you can only talk so much about reselling. You can only, you know, show
I
the stuff
think-
that you bought.
I think like I like to listen to you, Tom. It gives you a little insight of what else you do in your life.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't want you to say personal stuff, but it is kind of cool. Like, oh, I'm doing this, or this is some other interest I have. You know.
More of a lifestyle kind of thing versus a
Yeah, I mean, I still would do the reselling, but I mean, once
Right.
in a while having like a lifestyle kind of video in there. I mean, I think it's like a get to know you. You know, you get to know the creator a little bit.
We do the same thing like we do like rolling. We call them usually rolling videos. Like we do a couple from the car here and there with the kids, you know, or out somewhere now and then. The only advice I give you onto it is to use them sparingly because it can corrupt the analytics sometimes in your recommendations. Because of it, it can put you in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah.
Do it once in a while just to let people connect with you and space them out some is better
Right.
whenever possible. Because niching has never been more important than it is now on YouTube. Never. Xenia and I have a harder time than a lot of you guys for the simple reason is even though we have a couple of things that tie in all under an umbrella, it is harder to market it. In theory, if it wasn't so much work, we should have a channel for our interviews, a channel for our shoutouts and everything else and all that, and a channel for the tech talks. It's just you got to watch it because it can throw your algorithm off turn and then you can start getting less viewers onto it. The same as people don't realize that niching also means live streams and videos, and it doesn't go by case. It generates your channel as either a live stream channel or an upload channel. We're putting up a new channel this fall. We're actually launching it hopefully at the end of September, and that is going to be all pre-recorded. There'll be no live streaming whatsoever onto it because it pushes them differently. That's why you'll see some jump into it quickly, like with live streams are building up, you know, and I hear them a lot say, okay, I'm going to do this till I get monetized. Then I want to go back to being a cat food channel or whatever it is they do. And on top of it, they don't just do that, but they go completely off topic the whole time with their lives. What happens in the end is they go to upload videos and the videos aren't getting as much traction as they used to. It's because your channel is now regarded as a live streaming channel. It's pivoting them differently because live streams work on a very short but very high peak because they're live.
right.
Where videos work on not as high, but a more long-term shot to give you evergreen growth.
Right.
And we had a channel just a couple of weeks ago who started trying live streams, and then they put up a video and they only got 1/4 of their views. And it's already starting to creep into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm in recovery mode currently. I moved all my stuff. I think I talked to you about it briefly. I moved all my live stuff off to a live channel.
Yep.
But I'm still in recovery mode. I'm still seeing, you know, small number of views, trying to recover from, you know, doing lives and pre-recorded at the same time.
And I remember I was telling, that's why I said to you, it's got to be a patience game onto it because it's not going to change overnight. You're retraining the algorithm on how it looks at you.
Right.
Do you recommend if you're going to do a lot of live streaming to have a separate channel for your live stream?
Yes, always.
And is that because, and I think you mentioned it before, letting each video have its own life cycle,
no.
You know, and you want to have at least 24 hours of being in the limelight from what I remember.
That's right.
And every new video takes on the limelight of your channel.
That's right. And if you're doing, say, 4 live streams and 3 videos a week, the algorithm's at a complete loss. So it just kind of, and it tends to gravitate more to the live stream side because it's got more of a push quicker. And the videos really tend to suffer. In theory, if you're, say, a regular upload channel, once to twice a month is about all you should live stream onto it. And it should be very on topic to what you do. Like you guys are resellers. Say you're putting up 3 videos a week of reselling. And once on the 15th of every month or whatever, you do a live stream to take questions about reselling, news on reselling. It has to really pertain to what the channel is about. If you're going to do a lot more, same as like we've had a channel even with videos, like say you niche and you're a farming channel, but you like the game. Well, if you game once every 2 weeks or something like that for one night, it's not the end of the world. But if you want to play games 2 or 3 times a week, you got to get another channel because there's no way of combining those markets together, and one is suffering. One is going to take a toll, and then sometimes even brings both of them down because the algorithm can't define you so much video by video. It's painted a picture basically of your channel as a whole and what it does on here. Oh, you're a live stream channel and you talk about, I don't know, bit currency, and that's what you do, or you're a video about bit currency, or you're a channel about this or that, but it is painted a framework for what that channel does. So
I know I've noticed, Craig, that like Scott, the bearded picker, he's gone off. He's got his own live channel now instead of his main channel.
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything with it yet. But
Is he not?
He may be on it Thursday. I'll have to look. I don't think he's done anything with it yet.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was going to start this week, but he wasn't on Tuesday.
But you had mentioned, Andrew had mentioned in one of the shows about the analytics of, you know, the mixing the live with the
right
with the pre-recorded. But my little horse and pony show, really not concerned about that right now.
I don't know. You got a good bit of people in here. A lot of people looking at you saying, "Man, I wish I could have that many people in my live stream right now." So, you know, it's not a small potatoes. It's nothing to sneeze at.
This is fun to me. I'm a talker. If you haven't gathered, I'm a talker. I like doing these, you know, these kind of things. So it's fun to me. It's not like I'm trying to do it to, you know, to make a bunch of, you know, to make money or anything like that. It's just fun. And
but that's a valid reason that gets lost sometimes. If you're happy with where things are, that's the best thing of all. There's nothing wrong then with. For us, what we get is people that really say they're having fun with it, and then they come really upset or really angry that everything went down. It depends what you want out of YouTube. Like if somebody's here and they just want to post videos of their grandchildren, they just want it that way. You know, and they say that to us. It's just about my grandchildren. I don't want to learn tags. I just want to put them up. I want a reference so they can look at later on. That's okay. That YouTube allows that. You don't have to justify it to anybody. You're within the group. But then we get the channels that say that. Then they come in. I heard they're taking away monetization. Why can't I get monetized? Well, I thought you were about your grandchildren being up. You didn't want to learn tags. Well, you kind of cut yourself out of that market. You know, you can't play all fields. Like, you know what I'm saying? And some try to do. And then that's when it's confusing. And it's like, well, what do you want to do? I thought you didn't care about monetization. Now you do. You know, well, if you do, you got to change up on these steps. But I don't care. I don't want to learn tag. Well, there's only two. It's either you do or you don't. You know.
Yeah, both Craig and I have we hit the magic numbers, so we're monetized, and we would starve to death if we relied on that money.
Yep.
And that's what most people don't. These people that are making big money off of YouTube, they've got, like the person you said has got 30 people working for them. They're grinding out content every day, and they've got people that's doing all this editing and stuff like that.
Yep.
My wife and I, we watch follow Hat Films, which is 3 guys out of England that game, and they're like 3 12-year-olds that their moms left them alone for the first time because their language gets really off-colored. But they've got people that's what that are editing for them.
Yep.
I mean, if somebody, I've come to the conclusion, if somebody wants to make an income off of it, they have got to go at it an entirely different way than the average person that gets into YouTube and thinking, oh, I'm going to get monetized and make a bunch of money. No, you got to think about, you're going to be working 12 hours a day generating content, and you better find you somebody to do your editing.
Most of you guys are self-employed. Being self-employed, being a YouTuber, or self-employed doing anything is the same. You'll always work the hardest when you're self-employed.
Right.
You wear all the hats. You do everything. And that's the thing here. It's a great opportunity for a lot of self-employed people to be seen, but it's also 10 times more work because you're doing everything for your business plus doing everything for YouTube. It's a draining process. It really, really is. And those guys that are making big money, it's because they're sponsored. That's not even the AdSense that's putting them over the top. It's the sponsored deals. It's the products they sell, you know, either well it's books or it's packages, or you could have a guy on here that's a real estate agent with 25,000 subscribers making way more than somebody with 5 million subscribers because he's selling packages, one-on-ones or master classes on how to be a better real estate agent or how to practice the exam, books about how to pass it. He's making way more money than some that have millions. It's not the size of it, it's how well it generates different types of revenue for you that count. AdSense is roughly $10,000 US for 10 million views, roughly in the best of times. That's a lot of views to get $10,000.
Yeah, I watched, and Craig has actually watched some of the same ones. Some of these girls online that are, you know, they've showed like, you know, I had a video that did $1 million, I mean, 1 million views, and this is how much I made off of it. And, you know, they were like, you got to really turn out a lot of content to make a living off of it. And you got to turn out some good quality content to do so. But,
yeah, the average YouTuber over 1 million subscribers last year made 17,000 US from YouTube.
17,000.
17,000. That's the average.
And that's actually what they got. That's after YouTube took their part of it.
Mhm.
Lord have mercy.
Yep, it's not.
We see all the lavish, you know, houses and cars and all of that. First of all, it's like 1% of the creators up on top that even get there from the ones that have millions.
Yeah.
And then second part is we don't know if it is bought by their manager, how much in depth they are to get there, and so on. It all looks nice and pretty, but even for those that are, we don't really know what is the actual reality. So, you know, it's tempting, but it's not really what is happening in real life.
And they've become our rock stars when I was younger, looking up to Slash and all those guys. Now all the youngins look up to YouTubers, so they put on a show, but it's like Facebook. You see a happy family you haven't seen in 20 years. Oh, God, Bob has a great life. I wish it was like him. You don't even know if it's his house he's standing in front of.
Yeah.
A car, you know? I mean, it's an artificial world that's been created through social media, and even down to people on Facebook. That happens a lot. If they find out later on their lives were nothing like they portrayed there. Same with YouTube. It's easy to rent a car for the day. Oh, I got a Lamborghini. Well, they paid $300 for the day to get one.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't even get out. I wouldn't want to rent one because once I got in it, I probably couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. They rent the Ferrari and then they take a Uber home at the end of the day, you know?
I saw this pretty burgundy Mustang GT convertible the other day. My wife was with me and I said, boy, that's pretty. And she said, don't even think about it. You couldn't get out of it once you got down into it because of my knees. Yep. But, you know, once you, you know, and I was basically doing it the same reason that Tara is talking about. She wants to get to 1,000 subs just so she can say I did it.
Yep.
And that's what I wanted to do too. I wanted to just be say, are you monetized? Yeah, I'm monetized.
Well, it's
that being monetized and $3.50 still won't buy you a cup of coffee from Starbucks.
For me, it isn't even for the whole of YouTube to get to the 1,000 subs. It's because most of my peers are there or over that. So at least I can say, all right, I fit in with the rest of my peers.
And I get that. And that's what's created that social media element to YouTube. And you're very right in feeling that, because there is that feeling now, you know, and you're not the only one. We hear it constantly. If I could, I'm sure if you could go back to YouTube and say now when the Adpocalypse came out and they came out with this 1,000, 4,000, that number would have been a lot higher. They made it way too small. It brought everybody out of the woodwork. Everybody's going to be a channel now all of a sudden. They didn't even know what they wanted to be on here. There was no idea of a program. It was just turn on the camera and let's go. Dog cracking in the back, mustard stain on the shirt, screaming at the hubby. This is a show. Look at me. I'm going to be rich. Oh my God. 2,000 hours to go and 300 more subscribers. We're going to be rich. We're going to be
And we just need that one viral video that's going to really launch it.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of viral videos end up the same way. The next one is get half the views, a quarter of the views, and then the algorithm within 5 videos, you're worse off than when you started. When I shout out channels, I tell people I can shout you out till the cows come home, but if you don't have content to watch, they're not staying, and you're actually hurting your channel way more than helping it. You gotta have something. Just because people go there doesn't mean they're gonna watch.
Yeah.
And you can have the biggest YouTuber. If Casey Neistat shouted out any one of us tomorrow, we will get subscribers because they will follow him like sheep. Go subscribe to them. We're going to get massive numbers. But do we have something there to retain them so they come back?
Yeah.
He shouted out Peter McKinnon that time. Peter McKinnon already had what, 1.1
Over
million.
one, yeah.
He gained 600,000 subscribers in 3 days, I think it was.
Oh,
But he had the content to back it up.
Right.
They didn't go there and walk away. Casey Neistat wouldn't have shouted him out unless he knew it was going to pay off.
Or if it was a reputable provider.
Yeah. If I told you to go to a store, hey guys, go check out the store, it's amazing, and you all go and there's nothing on the shelves. Well, you went, they're there, they're standing there, and they're also not coming back.
Well, it's the same
Yeah.
as with any promotion, you know, it works both ways the same way, no matter if it's a shout out from a bigger YouTuber or if it's a promotion of a channel, it works the same way. If you have content, then those followers are going to be coming back to see more in either of the variations of scenario. And if you don't, then they're not going to come back at all because you have nothing there to watch. So.
It's you know, it's something. It's like everything else. I mean, even if you're going to do have it as a hobby, you still got to work at it.
Yes.
To keep it going.
And the YouTube process has to be part of the hobby. I always compare it to model train guys. They're not there just to watch the train go around the track. They enjoy the process of building the track. They enjoy the process of the scenery building, the wiring, building the engines. If it's just to watch the track go around, then you might as well just put up videos and watch MPEG-4s on your own screen and save yourself a lot of hassle and misery.
I mean, it's like these the drone videos, which I think you just got a drone not too long ago, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And I mean, I find them very relaxing. I'll turn them on our TV in the den and run it through the PS4, and I just usually they got some nice gentle music going on with the video, and it's just real relaxing, and I really enjoy them. And my sons will walk through here and say, "What are you watching?" I'm watching this guy fly his drone. Well, God, that's boring.
You get some great footage with a lot of them. Stuff that you just don't see walking down the road or walking through an area.
Who never wanted to be a bird when they were a kid? To see from a bird's eye. I mean, that's literally a dream come true. Which they had to have helicopters before doing. It cost a fortune. We see so many things now.
So it's but like I said, from visiting your channel, I've been connected with so many people that have. Now, I mean, I'm still subscribed to a lot of trappers. I don't really watch, and I hate to say it, I don't watch their videos because I don't like the concept of trapping.
Right.
And when I subscribe to them, I watch I watched one of their non-trapping videos because I'm real, I think about my animals and I just don't like it.
Right.
But I've watched a lot of videos of stuff. I've watched a lot of women put on makeup.
Oh no.
Well, as they say, you got to do it right. You've got to watch some video.
Yep.
And I just wish people would keep some short videos in there instead of having a 3-hour gaming stream, that kind of thing.
Yes, I agree. They should have a trailer. Everybody should have a trailer on their channel, by the way. Everybody should.
Yeah.
It's but like I said, I've watched a lot of people eat. I've watched a lot of people put on makeup and put on clothes, and
apparently you haven't taken any of the makeup tips yet.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what.
Okay, I gotta ask a trailer. I'm ignorant. Do you mean like an introduction thing that you put before your video?
No, that's an intro. Trailer would be like a mini commercial about what your channel is about, which usually 30 seconds to maybe 1 minute, not too long, but just a general kind of summary of what your channel is.
Oh, okay. And so when you go on that channel's page, it's that little video that
Yeah.
pops up.
Like introduction video. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can configure it to show that video to new people that come to your channel,
Yes.
Yeah.
and show a different one to people that are returning.
That's right. Yes. Perfect.
So you could use like little clips out of your videos where y'all are showing the products that you bought or the items you bought at auction standing in 6 inches of snow.
I don't
Things like that.
anymore.
I mean, I think about things that people want to see in those kind of videos, what your channel's about, how often you upload, if you have another channel that you're going to live stream, where that is, that kind of information. They want to understand what your channel's about. And I have a feeling that YouTube probably uses that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing another channel. I got my hands full with trying to
I'm just saying,
a little bit I do. Yeah, I'm not doing another one.
I just meant whoever, not you,
No, I know. I'm just razzing.
It's
I didn't even know what the trailer was, so I mean, yeah.
Just think of it like a movie trailer, like you see a preview on a TV or a movie.
Mhm. Yes, I've been on Craig's channel, and I know what you're talking about because I've seen yours. So
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I think that was one of the first ones I did.
And then there is intro, which intro is the beginning or almost the beginning of the video, which is a completely different thing. Which you should start with what the video is about, then put the buffer, which would be the intro, literally 5-10 seconds. This channel, subscribe, ring the bell, and that's it. And then you follow with the rest of the video, and that's intro. So that's the difference.
I've just started doing that recently.
It's a great way of attracting new subscribers because people forget, and oftentimes creators leave it to the very end of the video, and literally 95% of the viewers don't make it to the end of the video. So if you want to get people to subscribe more or to get that bell, you really should be putting it more to the beginning of the video.
are y'all using OBS to do y'all screen?
Yeah.
One of the people that pops up down in the corner, he reminds me of Red Green. Do you remember Red Green?
I remember Red Green very well, Canadian.
Yeah, we got that on PBS down here. My wife and I would sit there and watch that and just laugh because we like British TV shows and Canadian TV shows, and we would just sit there and laugh about how stupid he was.
He was quite the man. He went to CBC when he started, which is Canadian broadcasting, like you guys with PBS. He had a show already with his wife years ago, and he said, I went to CBC. I said, I want enough money to start a show, but not enough money that you care what I'm doing. That was that's how the Red Green Show was born. Yeah.
Well, it's not like he was a high budget thing.
No. But he became kind of a Canadian. Everything in Canada is always going to be I've always thought that we're always going to be between Europe and the States. Every law you can think of, everything we do in life is pretty much a mix of the two of them. We're always that kind of middle ground between. And even our comedy is a lot like a lot of comedians come out of here that people don't even realize are Canadian. Leslie Nielsen, John Candy. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's kind of a whimsical humor here that's kind of influenced by British, but not as concentrated as there, but also not the same as like the sitcoms of the 80s, for instance, with the US. We're all a little more on the fringe, but not as far.
We're still holding Canada responsible for Justin Bieber, though.
You guys can have them. There you go.
No, we're holding you responsible for releasing him onto the world. I guess actually that was Disney that released him. But
there was a kid that was very talented at the time. I mean, he does multi-instrument influence and just got through the system. And once they were done with him, they genericized him so badly. But he started on YouTube. He was the first big personality to be picked up on here.
Oh, really?
Yep. And back then he played guitar. Sang.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Y'all do something else besides the YouTube thing. Y'all have a photography business also, correct?
Yeah, called PUSA Studios.
Oh, it's also going to be.
This channel started off to promote our business. Xenia does photography. She was doing Instagram, and I opened this. You can actually go back. You'll see my cinematography stuff. It was all my editing, and Instagram was for her for photography to help build up our business name.
That's cool.
Where's it going?
And so y'all still real active in your photography and all of that.
Yep, still paying the bills. Still hasn't taken over. And maybe it's getting us already. We're getting out of the odd wedding or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, no, it's still can't be replaced. No.
yeah. But as far as it taking over, no, definitely not.
My nephew has a friend, or actually his wife has a friend that does. She's a photographer and she does all the weddings and stuff like that. And she hates doing weddings.
Oh,
It's real good money. But she says that a wedding will bring out the bridezilla in somebody in a skinny minute.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then mother-in-law, and then everybody else. Yes.
This is a bit of my editing right here. I'm not putting the music on, but this is a bit of what I do on here. It's like the Montreal Festival. So that's the kind of stuff that you'll find on the channel.
That's cool.
And all of this is inside of your PUSA Studios channel.
Yeah, that's right. You can
Cool.
find. Yeah, they're down under another list. I actually do a lot of training stuff. That's kind of my son and I have a. Oh, sorry. There we go. My son and I do a lot of train footage together. We actually sometimes go for overnight and follow like the CN or CP rail line and stuff like that.
What's that whole? There's a niche market in that rail.
Rail fanning, like?
Huh? What is it?
Train fan.
Rail, yeah,
Rail fan?
rail fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was looking around. I was looking the most popular YouTube stuff in our state, and that was one of them. And it's just people that are, have a camera on a intersection where a train comes by.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more stuff to it, but that's kind of where a lot of it starts.
This is a train that I filmed in where I grew up in eastern Quebec along the mountains, and this is a train with 2 kilometers worth of windmill blades, like a short line.
Oh, and free shipping.
And this is where you can see, like, this is the kind of stuff that I really like to do, like that, like filming that type of stuff.
It's our family pastime too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just go and catch the trains and watch them all together. So
Those are blades.
yeah.
Wow.
My God, those are long.
Are you gonna
72.
use your drone to get some of that footage now?
What's that?
Are you gonna use your drone to get some of that footage now?
Nope. I'll go start with the DJI Osmo handheld. I haven't used the drone yet. It's sitting in the.
You've had that thing for like 6 months, haven't you?
Yeah, I got it late in the spring. It was a gift from the guys at Canadian Drone Hub, but then we had kind of an odd summer. We were so busy,
Right.
and just the time is, you know what it's like. Days fly into months. My son's getting more into it, so I'm hoping he'll fly it more.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
he loves it. He loves it.
Now you have older children too, don't you?
21, 12, and 8.
I thought you had one older than the two that we see on the video.
One.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I've got a technical question here for you.
Okay.
When you're talking about doing doing your main page for your YouTube, and you have all your
Playlist.
your playlists.
Yep.
The original playlist, you said to take it off.
Yep.
or move it. Can you delete it, or do you have to like hide it or something of that sort?
You remove it. Hang on 1 second. You come here to your home page. You're going to hit customize channel.
Right.
Takes a second to load up. Sorry about that. And then once it comes up here, you're going to go down. And you're going to go to any playlist that YouTube originally gives you. You're not deleting them like they're going to go away. You're just not going to feature them on your homepage.
Right.
So you're going to go, say this was the one, say the uploads are recently uploaded by YouTube, say.
Right.
You go to the pencil, wherever playlist it is, click on the pencil. And there's a trash can right here.
Right.
Remove it. And it's
Okay.
gone.
Okay. I saw that's what I was going to do, but I was afraid that if I did it, because it's one that YouTube had created, I didn't know whether it would mess up the whole whole channel.
You go into the settings and you set them all to private, the ones that came from YouTube. You don't want to feature them, and the reason why let me go back, I'll bring it up another one. Why you use your own playlist is because you get the added advantage of discoverability.
Right.
And why that is like now you see we made our own. So instead of uploads that come to YouTube, we made one with our own channel name, Space Uploads. This is what I call it, like a YouTube hack. And this one, you put in good descriptive sentence into it. This helps it get noticed the same way as your videos do about putting in like titles and descriptions. So that's why you feature your own, because if you can add in these descriptive sentences where you create your playlist, they're more likely to be discovered by, like, recommended by YouTube, which gives them a lot more views than what the generic ones are like.
Right. Well, I moved the the uploads playlist that it comes when you start your YouTube channel. I moved it all the way to the bottom.
I would still get rid of it. I wouldn't
Okay.
even feature it.
Well, like I said, I was kind of concerned that if I deleted it, it would mess things up, because maybe that was like a root program.
Right.
You can't delete it from the playlist category. It just will get rid of it on homepage, but it's impossible to delete the default playlist. You can just them.
Because what's on your homepage here right now is just what you choose to feature, basically.
Right.
So deleting it is not deleting it in whole, it's just deleting it from the homepage.
Okay.
But why I like them so much on top of the discoverability is also the looks it gives to your channel. It's one more reason for people to stay and see what you do.
Right.
And we also use it too because the way it's divided, like we have our Tech Talk Tuesdays in one playlist. We have our interviews on another playlist. We have our survival guides, our wheel night. So that we do multiple things, it's easier for people to find out what we actually do. Where if they just went to the video folder, it's just no rhyme or reason to it.
Right.
That's the biggest plus.
Plus, also people then watch more likely your next video, or if they all of a sudden leave, to do something else, it's still playing. Well, it's gonna be jumping from one video to another instead of going to some random creator's video, right?
Right.
So you get more watch time.
Yeah, because the ones that's trying to get their view hours up, I'll just turn them on my laptop, across my desk, and I'm listening to it, but it just sits there and it just runs from one of their videos to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And Tara, you're muted because I was getting some feedback or something, so you can unmute it when you want to. But anyway, I appreciate it. It's 11 o'clock my time. I've got to go to bed. I have to get up at 5. I really appreciate y'all coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us, by the way. That was really nice.
I throw y'all's name out all the time because y'all have so much good information, and I'm really thankful for finding y'all's channel, and because you've, like I said, on Tech Talk Tuesdays, when you're talking about how to set up your homepage and creating the playlist, and the thing about creating one that says like Queen City Picker playlist instead of using the upload playlist.
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff y'all talk about on your Tech Tuesdays, right?
Yeah.
And that's I'm a technical person. I get the most out of that.
I appreciate that so much. It's so nice, and I want to thank you guys personally. I know you guys helped us get so many more new people from your niche to come over and visit us, and I cannot thank you enough.
Well, we truly appreciate you coming in here, stopping by, and visiting with us and talking and whatnot, and really getting to know y'all. I mean, I watch y'all's videos, and I've watched y'all riding with the kids in the car and whatnot, and which is good and is cool, because we have a friend who's also a reseller, Dusty, the Alabama picker. His videos are all pre-recorded, and I mean, he does the occasional live, but they're like 3 hours, 3 hours long, because when he's in his office, he's working.
Right.
And he gets in the car and he starts driving. He turns on his phone and he starts recording.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just keeps adding them together. And I told him earlier, when my son was at NC State, I could turn it on, which is in Raleigh, 3.5 hours away from me. I could turn one of his videos on and listen to it all the way to Raleigh. A continuous play of his video. Well, so I like those type of videos. I like when you're in the cars, because you kind of get to know the person on a different level than
more parts.
Like when you're in your studio.
Yes. But no, it's a little more candid and stuff like
right. And the kids are cute. You have the cutest little girl.
No,
Thank
she likes
you.
to be a center of attention.
Mhm. She's happy in front of the camera.
She's asking, when can I have my live stream?
Yeah. Guess what my answer is?
Never.
Well, Tara has a 12-year-old son, and he wants his own YouTube
Yep.
channel. And she's like, "You're not old enough for a
No.
YouTube channel yet."
No.
No. I worry about the comments.
Yeah, no.
Because I mean, they're at an age where they're impressionable, and
Yep.
you just might have somebody that says something really cruel to them, or
There's some
Yeah.
people out there that get on such a high from tearing somebody down, and we have our son's going to be 13 this month, and the same thing with him too. The last thing he needs is his confidence being shot to pieces by a couple of idiots, I guess, for lack of a better.
yeah,
And it's not the I mean, kids can be cruel,
Yeah.
but it's the adults that you don't know that's an adult. You just see a name on there, and they come in and they blast them or say something
Yeah.
about it.
We had somebody not say anything really mean about our son, but we let them in a couple videos, and they said something. Delete. Jim's like, no, my husband. You talk about my kid, you're getting your comments getting deleted. That's you don't. That's
Yep.
just a line we don't want to cross.
Mhm.
Because Tara and Jim put up a video when they had their farm up in Wisconsin. They had at the back of their property they had an erosion problem, and they were going to just throw together a little fix so they could drive their truck across it.
Right.
And they got such criticism about, well, you should have did this and you should have did that, and they were talking about probably spending several $1,000s, and all they wanted to do was to be able to take some fence posts back there to fix their fence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of people that's there, and it's
Yeah.
like I've mentioned, Crankbait Crisis. He's a little kid. I mean, he's I guess a young man, but he looks like a little kid, and I would. He's got a good following and whatnot. I would hate for people to be, get on there and be mean to him because he's having fun. And that's what most people should be doing, is having fun with this.
Yeah.
Yes.
But some people just don't like to see fun. That's the problem. So
Yeah. Or, a little success. And when I say success, I'm talking about, their subscriber count is going up, that type of thing. Or they're having a live and they've got 30 people in it for a change instead of 5 or 6. They can be so mean, and I understand why Tara is like, no, you're not old enough.
Yeah. No, to me it's a little scary. I mean,
you're throwing them to the wolves half the time.
yeah, Mother Bird's not ready to push them out in social media yet.
But see, they've got one that's going on 13, so they're probably going to start getting the calls too, saying, "Can I speak to whatever his name is from the little girls and whatnot?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because back in the dark ages when I was a kid, a girl never called a guy. Even after I got engaged to my first wife, she was not allowed by her parents to call me.
Right. a lot has changed out for all of us. That is for sure.
But for everybody that's still in the chat, if you're not already subscribed to them, please reach out and subscribe to them. Look at their channels. Be sure, if you want to grow your channel size, go over to when they're having their networking sessions. Do it the right way. Don't be throwing numbers out there.
Thank you.
Because there are some, oh my God, sometimes I want to scream. It's like, just dial me in for like 5 minutes and are you people stupid that you cannot understand that he says, please do not throw all these numbers in here? And then they're constantly throwing them up anyway.
Right after the comment, and it's like, what did you not hear? What did you not hear out of what I just said? Am I speaking like in dolphin tones?
That's right. Hey, Nikki. I was just talking about you a few minutes ago. Nikki, the popular picker, she's the one that lives up near Duluth, and she's the one that's talking about it's only 32 degrees below zero for the next month. I'm like, pack your stuff and come south. But like I said, y'all subscribe to them if you're not subscribed to them. listen to their channels. If you're interested in growing your channels or developing your channels, they are the people to
Thank you.
listen to.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having
so
us
much
tonight.
for having us tonight, and thank you for the chat as well. Thank you.
And everybody, it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, everybody. Be well.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for tonight. It was a pleasure being up.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.